the one who find him.
The passport, bro.
Divisive subculture on the internet.
Frustration.
You don't sound very empathetic.
I'm not happy. I'm enraged because I'm alone. I don't have anybody to hold me.
You do get to speak.
Happy.
Hang on. Close to saying that the black man is a wimp. This book, The Black Woman's...
I'm not happy with any of them. You know, they have disappointed us all.
Richard Majors men. Black men, let me just try the white interpretation here and you'll straighten me out. Next year, often...
Part with Sister Ali is that by calling black men wimps, by saying that they're punks, that bothers me. I'm not going to let the government,
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. I've been working on this show for a while, about a year, because when I first ran across the Passport Bros, I knew that this was a real thing that was taking hold in the black community. Today's talk is about middle-class black men abandoning the black community that uses them and throw them away. The only people in this country, when it comes to the black community that's really thriving, are the RNs, that's the rich ninjas, and the YNs, the young ninjas. Because the rich ninjas, they have money, and the YNs, they have money too, but they're more violent. The only people that suffer through all of this is the middle class men. So I'm going to talk about black men in general, but this can go for white men too. Because white men are going through some of the same things in their community that we are. Feminism has taken hold, and I want this message to be for my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids in the future, because they need to understand that they are the customer. They are the buyer. Whenever you paying rent, whenever you buying school clothes for kids that's not yours, you are the buyer. You paying utility bills, you paying child support, you are the buyer. And what happens when a buyer goes into a store and gets a defective product? They put it back or have it exchanged. A lot of men are saying, you know what, I'm going to another market because this market doesn't have what I'm looking for. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got another class of men, I call these guys the panda bears, the panderers. These men are the snake oil salesmen. They're trying to shame you into staying in this country and buying the product. The reason why they're trying to do that is because if you look at the snake oil salesmen, most of them are well-to-do. They got their pick of the choice of the litter of the product. The women are the product. So they have their pick and choice of the product. So what happens when other buyers start leaving the market? The market is the community. They start going to other communities, spending their money, taking their resources with them. So what happens is the product is looking for somebody to spend resources, and they have to go to the snake oil salesman. And if the snake oil salesman don't have you to dump all of their bastard kids on, if the snake oil salesman don't have you to pay rent for their side pieces or get their side pieces off of their backs, they have to turn around and pay extra money. Now, I'm not gonna go into too many details about this, because this video compilation I put together is going to explain it all. Let's get into the show.
The Daily Read, your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
Roles seem to be a hot commodity nowadays, so let's just go ahead and get straight into it. These are the same needs that you said you didn't want, didn't need, and they are broke. I'm going to be honest, going overseas to travel frequently and live does not equate to broke. But then again, this just simply speaks to the delusion and hypocrisy of women. These men have been very clear in their message. They've said time and time again they want a wife, someone they can build with, start their family with, someone they can create a legacy with. What y'all heard was they wanted someone that they can control. Y'all minimize being a wife simply down to being a slave, even so much as telling those other women overseas that they're uneducated and practicing sex tourism. And in turn, a lot of y'all have took your degree and traded it in for an OnlyFans profile. Nobody said anything when women were going to Dubai. We know why you were going. Nobody said anything when women were flying state to state getting flued out. We know what you were doing. Nobody said anything when Nigerian and Jamaican men needed green cards and y'all started falsifying marriage documents so you could drive your Range Rover with your red bottoms. Let's just call a spade a spade. Y'all wanted the option to go back to these men after the man that you really wanted was done dragging you through the mud.
Recent data predicts that 45% of women between ages 25 and 40.
What that woman said towards the end, I need you men, especially you younger men coming after me, my kids, my nieces, nephews, I need y'all to understand this message. They wanted the option to come back and get resources out of you. You got to understand what's happening, people. A lot of these women from the age of 20 to 35, they get out here and play the field to see what best money options they can get out of the community. And then once they hit 35, 40 and they have all of these babies, they come back to resources that they know sitting around waiting. But what's happening is the passport bros are not waiting. They're taking their resources and going somewhere else. And this is causing a big confusion in the community, but it shouldn't be. The most damaging thing, and I'm finna cam up real quick. The most heart-wrenching thing I ever heard, besides a woman spitting in my face, a black girl spitting in my face, but the most damaging thing I've heard a woman tell me, a black woman, why don't you go where you appreciate it instead of tolerate it? I said, what? I said, you know what? You exactly right. And when you get to a point in your life, and I hope some of you men that's watching this show get to that point early before you start spending 20, 30, 40 years of your life pumping resources into people that really want to be somewhere else with somebody else. Don't go there. Let's get back into the show.
24 will be single and childless by the time 2030 rolls around. The number of single women in the U.S. is expected to rise 1.2% every year. We're told by our culture that a woman who is unmarried and has no children is empowered and in charge of her own life. She has escaped the unnecessary burden of raising a family and being a slave to her husband. At least, that's what our society has convinced us. Sadly, many women have adopted the modern feminist lifestyle and have chosen to sleep around, abort their baby if they unexpectedly get pregnant, and swear off marriage. But these cultural trends are going to have a tremendous impact on the future of the American society.
Average attractive male on Tinder gets swiped less than 1% of the time, and there's 3 men on Tinder for every 1 woman. So you've distilled it, you've taken out one of the key components of mating dynamics, and that is vibe, humor, body language, pheromones, the ability to be, quite frankly, a little bit persistent in the pursuit of a romantic relationship. We have no third places anymore, no places to meet. People aren't going to bars, they aren't sports-league, they aren't going to church, they aren't even going to work. So it gets distilled down to very 1 or 2 dimensional attributes, and the reality is women are much choosier than men, and they can apply those screens, and they allocate all of their attention to a small number of men. It results in just essentially at the end of the day a lack of opportunities. Chris Williams summarized it perfectly. He called it the high heels effect. In the last 40 years, more women have graduated from college than men, and they're not interested in mating with non-college grads. They now own more homes, single women than single men. So what you have is women say they won't date anyone shorter than them, 50% of them. Effectively, what you have metaphorically over the last 40 years is women have been getting taller and taller, and men have been getting shorter and shorter. How many of us have said, I know a ton of great single women, They can't find a date. That's not true. They can't find a date. They can't find a man they find economically or emotionally viable.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
This dude is who I'm talking about. He is the snake oil salesman. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show? Young men. This guy right here is a snake oil salesman. He probably has money. He has his pick of the litter. So what he does is he gets on here and try to shame men into sticking around and taking his leftovers. Because if a man sticks around and takes his leftovers, that frees him up to go do other things. But see, a lot of men are not sitting around taking leftovers anymore. They're not raising other people's kids anymore. They're getting their passports and they're going other places. Let's continue on.
Yeah. And you are accountable for that as well.
You said you may not harass women. You may know how to handle rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with cannot, and you are accountable for that as well. All right, let's unpack that. Because this isn't about accountability. It's a classic setup for guilt trip and disguised as some kind of moral high ground. And I'm not here for that noise. Stop calling this a community. It's not. Not when the only time y'all call black men to the circle is to blame us, use us, or silence us. The black community is the only so-called community where a man is asked to carry a collective weight for sins he never committed. Meanwhile, the 2023 CDC report shows black men are more likely than any other group to be falsely accused of crimes, especially sexual misconduct, even when evidence is lacking. You want to talk about accountability? Cool. God himself doesn't hold me accountable for another man's sins. Ezekiel 18:20 says, the son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. So what makes you think you get to? Women are never told to check their homegirls when a woman lies, sets a man up, abuses children, or fabricates a grape story. Duke LaCrosse, Emmett Till, Brian Banks, and more recently, Jonathan Majors, who was cleared after his ex was caught on video assaulting him. But where were the apologies? So let's be real. You don't want accountability. You want emotional insurance. You want someone to take the fall so you can skip the work. Miss me with the protect black women slogan if it only means shut up and die when we say so. Protection without reciprocity is slavery. Black men face the highest homicide rate in America, both as victims and suspects. But when a black man dies, y'all want a t-shirt and a mirror. When a black woman cries, y'all want legislation. And don't talk to me about black unity when black male life expectancy is the lowest in the country and no one's marching for that. But if we bring it up, we're accused of whataboutism. Pro-black simps like to pander for cookies. They quote Andre Lorde, but won't quote God. They'll throw black men under the bus to impress a woman who wouldn't even follow them if they led with divine logic. Pro-black has become pro-emotion. It's performance art. Community ain't a real thing if every time a man speaks the truth, the so-called community cancels him. You say women get unalived for rejecting men. That's true. But guess what? Men get unalived for defending themselves, for disrespect, for nothing. According to the Bureau of Justice statistics, black men are 4 times more likely to die by homicide than black women. So stop acting like men don't carry danger on their backs every day just for existing. I'm not responsible for what another man does, just like you're not responsible for women who set men up or beat on their kids or lie in court. That's not equality, that's emotional tyranny. This ain't a community if I gotta die to prove I'm a good man. This ain't solidarity if the only time I matter is when I shut up and sacrifice myself. I'm not doing that no more. Studies show Men that try to intervene in public disputes are often the first to be arrested or attacked. So if I step in to protect and she turns on me too, what's the reward? A hashtag, a trial, a jail cell? Nah, this is a trap, and I'm not playing. I'm not your savior. I'm not your scapegoat. I'm not your emotional punching bag. And I damn sure ain't your cleanup crew for your favorite crash dummy cousin or the men you secretly like. The men you secretly like until they hurt you. Divine separation means I answer to God, not groupthink. Keep your shame tactics, keep your trauma dumping, keep your fake calls for community. Because I've seen enough. And I'm off.
We off the plantation. There is no community. The community only applies to people they want in the community, but they need your resources. I'm gonna say that one more time slowly, and I'm gonna let him cook. The community, the black community, the quote-unquote black community, the proper black folks, need your resources, but they won't accept you. So take your resources and go somewhere else to another market.
That plantation. Y'all done lost y'all damn mind thinking I gotta take the blame for what other men do. Fuck out of here with that.
This woman traveled to Bangkok, Thailand, and right at the airport, she made a very interesting observation about the passport bros.
Honestly, the amount of white dudes with Thai women that are waiting to board international flights, it's an absurdity. It is crazy.
Now that she sees a lot of white men, hold on a minute.
Black men from America, they can't get no so they go to third world countries. I haven't seen a white yet. Are there white men in this? Because I feel like it's only men.
I guess it's a Western men thing, not just black men.
Like, half of the couples in this airport right now are beautiful Thai women with super basic white dudes.
And yes, her comment section were full of passport bros, and they were having none of it. It's hilarious.
Black women being cautious of black males is the accountability, not a narrative that literally creates violence for y'all. The manufactured consent is in racism and capitalism, not in the way black women navigate the public spaces when they have to deal with the male species. And yes, YT women right now are complaining about their own males. So I don't even know why. They're literally complaining about being cautious of their own males. The reason why you have to be held accountable is because, yes, you will make other women feel uncomfortable. I don't know why y'all trying to turn it into, well, we're trying to create a narrative that gets black males unalive. No. If you keep acting like mongrels and trying to make it seem like we can't be safe with y'all in public spaces, right? Y'all create that narrative on y'all own when y'all don't say, hey, we just want to protect y'all. Hey, we gonna mind our own damn business. Hey, we gonna learn how to take rejection. I'm gonna teach other black males how to do so. Because that is manufactured consent when you decide that you was gonna make black women feel unsafe. It's manufactured consent for the police to do what they want to you. Because that is what community is. You feeling like you should make black women feel safe. Shut up.
Let's stop playing this emotional shell game. Ain't nobody walking around trying to make you feel unsafe. What's really happening is you feel uncomfortable when you're not in control. Big difference. You say black women are just being cautious around black men. But let's keep it real. You're not cautious around everybody. You ain't crossing the street when a white man walk past you. You ain't clutching your purse when a tatted up Latino cat roll up. You still going to hookah lounges with aggressive non-black men who bark at you in their language like you some accessory. But suddenly, when a black man walks in, it's I don't feel safe. Nah, you just ain't got control over how we move. You can't size us up. You can't play puppet master with a grown man who ain't thirsty or triggered by your attitude. Then y'all hit us with this backwards guilt trip. Well, y'all should be accountable because we feel unsafe, and that's why the system targets you. Whoa. So now your personal fear becomes my public death sentence now. Are we serious right now? You're literally saying, because I feel a way, they can do whatever to y'all, and it's your fault. You sound like the DA. You sound like the judge. You sound like the cop that says he made me feel threatened after pumping 5 shots into a man trying to get home to his kids. And I'm supposed to eat that in silence. Nah, that's not safety. That's not community. That's how you manufacture consent for black men to get buried without a public trial. Real talk. You're not scared of us. You're scared of your own patterns. You're scared that we see the truth. That you chose the wrong dudes for years. That you praise the ones who ain't have no discipline. That you mock the ones trying to walk righteous. And now that you're in your 30s with mileage and regrets, you talking about black men are scary. Nah, you ignored the safe ones. You just didn't want them until life humbled you. You say protect black women, but let me ask you this. Do you even respect black men? According to your name, no. How you ask a man to protect you, then turn around and call him a mongrel? How you expect loyalty from the same dude you say you're scared of? Listen, you can't weaponize your fear just to keep us in check. You say you want safety, but what you really want is control. And the minute a black man don't fold to your emotions, suddenly he's the problem. I'm not the man who hurt you. I'm also not your emotional sponge. Don't drop your baggage at my feet and call it accountability. Don't bring white feminism with a black twist and expect me to co-sign it. Don't come for me just because I won't let you paint all of us with the same brush. I don't move out of guilt. I move out of God. So let's end it with this. If you think all black men are dangerous, cool. Stay away from us. But don't double back when the righteous ones build their own space with peace, order, and standards you couldn't meet. We ain't mad. We just done begging to be understood by folks who enjoy misunderstanding us. You not unsafe. You just not in control. And some of us ain't letting you run that same play no more. You shut up.
And he's exactly right. He's exactly right. Every man and woman have a right to defend themselves, period. Some people throw rocks and hide their hand, and when the people they throw rocks at get hit in the back of the head and turn around and get to throwing rocks back, now all of a sudden some of these people feel unsafe. You got to understand what's going on. If you're a middle-class man that makes less than $100,000 a year, you're basically unwanted until these women are not wanted anymore. You got to understand how this is being played. From the age of 20 to 35, they chase 10% of the men and keep the other 90% of the men on standby. By the time the 90% of the men that's on standby start coming into money and wealth around 35, 40, a lot of these women are damaged goods, and they start circling back. And now they expect queen treatment from you when they bring in extra babies to the relationship, sometimes up to 3 and 4. Bills, bad credit, attitude, fear, because the other men might have slapped them or beat them up. So now they're looking at you like you're going to do the same thing. And I always tell people, I would never put my hands on a woman unless she put her hands on me. I would never put a gun out on a woman unless she put a weapon out on me. Because I have every right to defend myself, period. Now, some of y'all might have looked past everything I just said, and the only thing you focus on is the fact that I said I will put my hands on a woman. That's okay. I'm not worried about that. I've moved on from that. But I've always maintained, just like a lot of other men, that I would never put my hands on a woman unless she try to hurt me. And it's either me or her. And like that man just said, we ain't sacrificing ourselves no more. Fuck you. That's the message. When a black woman told me go where you appreciate it and not tolerate it, that was enough for me. It hurt, but that was enough for me. I'm finna take my resources and go somewhere else. And I'm not finna allow the snake charmers, the snake oil salesmen, to try to shame me back into that community. Because that community don't want you except for your resources. They pick and choose who they want. This is where the gatekeepers come in. Once they pick and choose who they want, they still need you, brother. We need you to show up, brother, at the church, at the function, and bring $20 with you. Bring $50 with you. The female still wants you because somebody got to help her raise these 4 bastard kids. You know, we need more black fathers to play coach for Little League football. To all the little badass kids that she done had by other men that she really wanted to be with. Enough is enough. We done washed our hands. The middle class men in America have washed our hands of it. The only people thriving are the RNs, the rich niggas, and the YNs, the young niggas. Them the only 2 class group in America that's surviving and thriving. The middle class men are being used up and thrown away. I hope y'all get that message and understood it. This is for my sons, my kids, my grandkids. This is for the future generations to come after me. Because once it goes up on the internet, they're gonna run across it. And I hope they understand the message. If all the product in the store is defective, go to another store. And the store is the community. Take your resources and your money and go shopping somewhere else. Let's get back into it.
So after she posted this video, then she went and broke it down in this video here where she pretty much explained everything.
If you watch my last video, I was speaking to the amount of black men that are currently in Cartagena. So just to be clear, what made this very interesting to me, and this is not my first time in Cartagena, however, my first time in Cartagena was during the pandemic, and so it just wasn't nearly as busy. So this was my first time experiencing Colombia, I think in a more realistic form of just what, you know, the average flight consists of. And it was a extremely large amount of black men. And for reference, I am a full-time travel content creator, which means I am traveling all around the world, often on flights all the time. And I can honestly say that it is very rare for me to see a large number of black men on a flight that I'm on. It is very, 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 very rare. So to arrive and have a flight full of men, but also to see other flights full of men, and the customs line was crazy long. So when I say that there were black men everywhere, I literally mean there were black men everywhere. But what was the most jarring to me is the realization that I think there's a lot of discourse on the internet, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's just dusties, it's just broke men, it's just men that other women wouldn't date.
See, that's the game y'all love to play. Say something wild, then when it blows up in your face, throw on your calm voice and act like it was just constructive criticism. No, that tweet didn't say some men. It said straight black men are the weakest link, quote unquote. So let's stop gaslighting and acting like the ones responding are just too sensitive or taking it personal. We took it personal because you made it personal. Then when the backlash hit, you tried to rebrand it as a message just for the ones not doing the work. Too late. Be accountable for how you said it. I don't owe silence to a lie just because I know it ain't about me. I speak because I know it's about my sons. I got 4 of them. My little cousins. The solid brothers who never get credit. Only criticism. I speak because the people who actually show up always get hit the hardest, while the loudest critics tend to sit on the sidelines and tweet. You don't weaponize community accountability to disguise contempt. You can't paint all straight black men as broken, then backpedal and act like the real one shouldn't feel any type of way. That's not accountability. That's lazy rhetoric wrapped in fake nuance. That's how folks stir division while hiding behind therapeutic buzzwords. You want to hold brothers accountable? Cool. So do I. And I do it in real life, not just online. But you don't get to slap a whole group, then handpick who's allowed to react. That's not how disrespect works. Can't disrespect people and tell them how to respond to it. So no, I'm not overreacting. I'm setting boundaries. In any community that disrespects its men in public and only praises them in private is doing way more harm than the weaklings they claim to care about. You really are. I hear what you're trying to say, and I get the intent, but I still don't agree, and here's why. You said it's not about blaming me personally, just acknowledging that women have valid fears. Cool, I get that fear exists, but here's the issue. The moment I'm expected to understand why I don't get the benefit of the doubt just because I'm a man, that's not awareness, that's passive profiling, and I'm not going to nod along just to keep the peace. Look, if a woman's been through something, I respect that. She has every right to protect her space. But protection becomes projection when it turns into a general assumption about me before I even open my mouth. That's not just caution anymore, that's bias. And if you expect me to silently accept that bias, now you're asking me to co-sign it. Let's be real. If a white person said I get nervous around black men because I've seen violence, we wouldn't call that a valid concern. We'd call it racial profiling. So how does it suddenly become reasonable when the same logic is applied to men in general? Trauma doesn't give you a free pass to judge people who didn't harm you. And I'm not denying reality. I know women go through stuff, but I also know a lot of good men who move with honor and still get looked at sideways. That's not healing. That's unresolved fear turned into normalized suspicion. And let's flip it. I've been lied to, manipulated, disrespected by women before. But I don't project that onto every woman I meet. That's my responsibility to heal from, not theirs to absorb. So no, I'm not carrying the emotional weight of every man who did someone dirty. I'll take responsibility for my character, my choices, my energy. That's real accountability. But if you ask me to just accept being seen as unsafe or suspicious because of my gender, that's not growth. That's soft shaming wrapped in intellectual language. You want safety? Cool. Let's talk boundaries, not blanket judgments. Let's talk standards, not stereotypes. I'll move in peace, I respect space, but I'm not shrinking myself to fit into someone's unresolved pain. That's not balance, that's bondage. And I pass on.
And you know what? I'm glad that brother brought that up, because I think one of the things that gets misconstrued when women watch this kind of content, because they think it's creating a divide, but what they don't understand is that when we're trying to tell men to look out for certain behaviors and patterns of women, it's so that way they can protect themselves and they don't have to go through that again. And this way they're holding themselves accountable instead of projecting it onto the woman who may have done something to him that he's experienced in the past, and that way he's not crashing out on her. Instead, he's like, okay, I recognize the pattern, I see what type of time you on, I'm gonna just extract myself from the situation and keep it pushing and just find a woman that doesn't behave this way.
She's sending me crazy pictures in crazy positions while we're talking about food. Now she's on Instagram and Twitter trying to...
And nowadays, women will try and beat around the bush, and because they're not out there on the corner, but in today's technological, digitally advanced society, if you're getting money, gifts, trips, any type of goods in exchange for service access to your body, you are indeed selling it. And if she's willing to do that, it's not really going to be that big of a leap for her to lie, accuse you of something you didn't do because she feel rejected, or is a situation that she sees can benefit her, even if it's going to cost you.
False information, I'm going to debunk it.
When you decide to get into this content creation, social media space, you got to be careful. He got 1.5 million followers on TikTok. And as much as you may want to still walk around or believe that you're the same person, you're just a regular guy, on most accounts, yeah, you are, but that's not how everybody's always going to see you. There's no... Does he think that he has a shot with her? Only the 1%, the most wealthiest, attractive type of men should ever even consider talking to her because that's the caliber of woman she is? Yeah, those type. Let's go ahead and check this part out.
If a bunch of men approach you in public, you need to stop taking that as a compliment. That's actually an insult. Unless they're a bunch of sharks approaching you, that should be taken as an insult. If it's a bunch of Nemos and Lil Nemos and regular men and Dusties approaching you, they thought that you were so unintimidating that it was okay for them to come up to you, waste your time, and ask you for your number because they just knew you were going to give it to them because they just knew you were in their league. Only the 1%, the top percent of men should be approaching you. Like, it's quality over quantity. I really hate when girls are like, I get niggas. That's the easiest thing to get. Do you get quality niggas? This is not for everyone either. This is for a certain target audience. The girls that get it, and the girls that don't. This is about using your beauty and investing even your last dollar into your appearance, to use your beauty to get a softer, easier life. It's about working smarter, not harder. Unfortunately, in today's society, unfortunately, but it's the hard reality, so save your comments, a woman's beauty will get her much farther than any degree will. Unfortunately. You guys need to stop letting these thirsty men boost your head up, get you comfortable, and hold you back from being the baddest bitch that you could be. There's always room for improvement. So if a lot of men are approaching you, that's not a compliment. Unless he's the big dog, top shark, you need to go look in the mirror and figure out what you need to do to become a better bitch. And what could these little Nemos do for you anyway besides tell you good morning, like, and give you a wet ass and send you home in an Uber? Uber X. Not even a black truck.
Yeah, listen, she's crazy. When you can run to the internet so confidently and speak on beauty standards when you got your entire face purchased from Ultra, that's a special type of delusional. It is. She got on pounds of makeup, fake lashes, hair extensions, and she's talking about beauty standards on how men should dare not approach her because they're not good enough. And I blame the guys for this, who are always gassing women up, telling them everything they want to hear because you think that's what's going to get you closer. You think that's going to get you your shot.
And I think one of the reasons why that bothers women a little bit is because, and this is in reference to one of the videos that I just did the other day, is because women want men to accept a lot of the bad behavior that they really wouldn't accept the other way around. So let's continue.
Let's wrap this conversation up and get something straight, because some of y'all are playing dumb on purpose now. It's not that we don't understand the need for accountability. We get that. But stop playing dumb to why black men are against that specific rhetoric. It's not accountability we're rejecting. It's the lazy blanket blaming that gets disguised as accountability. That's the problem. That's not justice. That's guilt tripping. That's group shaming. And it's burning bridges you claim you're trying to build. Here's what y'all need to stop doing. Stop acting like one man's actions define the whole gender. Stop holding innocent men emotionally hostage for things they didn't do. Stop confusing leadership with martyrdom. We're not sacrificing ourselves for your misdirected anger. Miss me with it. Stop pushing, be accountable, when what you really mean is take blame for something you didn't do. When y'all throw all black men under the bus for what a few do, it creates resentment, not unity. It breeds silence, not support. And it builds walls, not solutions. Y'all say you want protection. Cool, we want that too. But real protection starts with respect, not blame. You can't shame a man into protecting you. You earn that loyalty through truth, not manipulation. I'm accountable for me. I protect mine. I correct what's in my circle. But I'm not wearing the sins of a stranger. Period. Stop using accountability as a one-way weapon. Stop acting surprised when men push back. And stop playing dumb to why black men are tired of being treated like a cleanup crew for pain they didn't cause. If the goal is healing, stop leading with guilt. If the goal is unity, stop starting with blame. If the goal is protection, stop coming with disrespect. That's not hard to understand. We're not running from accountability. We're rejecting being your emotional garbage bin. So either build with us on truth or don't build at all. But yeah, this conversation, wrap it up. Wrap it up. Because a lot of you have shown me already throughout my comment section. You're playing dumb on purpose. So that's cool. Keep playing dumb. Keep playing dumb. And keep getting the results you've been getting.
So I married a Japanese woman. She's absolutely awesome. Let me tell you the story. For around 10 years, I was dating around in the West. A number of terrible relationships full of shit-testing, shit-talking, downright emotional abuse, really. My heart completely shut. I just couldn't open up to anyone anymore. Then I went to Japan. And within 3 months, I met my wife. She was just so caring, so supportive. She genuinely wished for me to feel happy. She was the one who finally managed to unlock my heart. I fell for her. I don't wonder at all why #PassportBros exist.
And I mostly ignored it, but it's kind of hard to ignore it at this point. I mean, we're at the point now where J. Cole made a song called The Passport Bros. Urban Dictionary defines the Passport Bros as: the Passport Bros are men who have chosen to seek out foreign women, typically from other countries, for relationships. And they believe that Western women have been influenced by cultural and societal pressures to behave in a certain way, and that by seeking out foreign women, they can find a more authentic, fulfilling, and harmonious relationship. This is seen as a way to restore the natural balance between masculine and feminine energy, and to avoid the wickedness of Western women. So this movement actually began back in 2011 when a filmmaker by the name Al Grease made a documentary called Frustrated. And the subject of the documentary was black men who were American and were frustrated with the dating scene in America, and so they went off to Brazil to find more feminine and Brazilian women. Fast forward to 2023, and this movement has expanded, it's blown up, and it has become a very divisive subculture on the internet.
Remember, when some of these people, the women or these panda bear men, start saying we didn't want you anyway, and your little money don't count, you can go by yourself, and 1 turns into 10, 10 turns into 500. Next thing you know, these women are going to be looking around in clubs like, where all the men at? This is what's happening.
That's not, so all it takes for us to say that too many. I just want to show you who she is and watch what she say and watch how she treat fellow, remember, it's supposed to be fellow black men. Watch.
Let me understand this now, so that for a black man living in a white society, you see the tradition, one of a kind of longing to be like the black man, like the white man, and an effort to be
accepted.
Accepted.
Well, it's more so like a parent-child relationship. white men have been the foster parent to black men. Although they've been an abusive parent, they have been the foster parent. And so consequently now that relationship is in turmoil because the black man is longing to go free, except he has lost any rationale or logic about what it is to be free and have to reclaim his position as man over us and father to his own children. And so that's left him in a very desperate situation that we no longer have any pity for.
Examples of what black men must do to fight for their freedom. Miss Ali. Number one, quit his job working in the system.
He's got to separate himself from his former slave master.
This is number 11, Brian. Can we see it? Number 2, abandon all his credit cards.
Absolutely. That dollar down, a dollar a week has failed many a black man.
Default on his car note in order to give full attention to important issues in the struggle.
Absolutely. Many of them have fine wardrobes and fine cars, and their babies are hungry.
We haven't got enough black men in jail. You want to put some more in?
Well, you know, that's another aspect of it. Some of our strongest and bravest and boldest black men are in prison. We got 500,000 of our men locked up. No civilization where the nation...
And y'all thought that came, you know, particularly from Color Purple, that idea that the good black men are in jail, prison. That's what you have to... And again, there's some things that she's going to say that y'all might agree with. But you have to read between the lines. You got to look at the belittling. No, they weren't our foster parents. What do you mean? They were our captors. What are you talking about? What do you mean they were our foster parents? No, this wasn't no child parent, no. This was just straight up abuse. Positions of power. And brothers didn't lay down for it neither. Over 290 slave revolts. So brothers knew it was wrong. They didn't just lay down and let it happen. But let's go.
If people as small as we are can survive with 500,000 black men locked up because of their frustration.
You don't sound very empathetic.
I'm not happy. I'm enraged because I'm alone. I don't have anybody to hold me. I'm not happy.
Hang on just 1 second. Number 4, Brian. This is number 12. Stop going to church and study your own cultural religion.
Absolutely.
Take black women off the streets who are living immorally.
Absolutely. We keep waiting on you to come in there and help do something for our children and get our women in order. Y'all get our women in order. They're your women.
Make his word his bond and begin doing what he says he's going to do.
Stop lying to us about everything.
So we got to go out there, right? Snatch women off the streets that are living immorally, right? What's that called? That's a crime. Right? And also stop lying to you because we're liars. Let's go.
You're very close. Miss Ali, you're very close. Well, this is going to be some picnic going out into this audience. You're very close to saying that the black man is a wimp.
Well, he is, but it's not because he has to be one. He is one because he keeps comparing himself to you. They act like their total challenge in life is to figure out a way to be accepted by you. We've been following them behind that idea since the 1960s, when we followed you all into the so-called integration and civil rights movement, which was a...
That wasn't us as a whole. That wasn't us as a whole. What is she talking about? What is she talking about? That was not us as a whole. You had plenty of black men on the other side of things that wasn't with Dr. King. I respect Dr. King for what he did. I do. He had courage. But his message and his way of going about it, I did not respect it. When I learned about it, I didn't respect it. At all. But you had brothers who weren't with that. Who basically said, this is our identity. We're separating ourselves from y'all. And we're not going out there getting boots, hands, and feet put on us. Majority of y'all didn't want to hear it. Y'all didn't want to hear it. Y'all didn't want to rock with those brothers. I'm going to do a video on that where you had Keisha's looking at Malcolm X and saying, he sounds crazy. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go.
It was a total failure, poorly thought out, and no thought was given to by sending yourselves and us into the white community on the basis of some eating some lunch counter and shopping some store or going some hotel, that you were destroying the economic base in the black community. Because all of those businesses that we used to service, we started taking our money into white people so we could try to get accepted by y'all.
This book, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Pose, among other things, and there are a lot of other things in this book, comes forward, Dr. Majors, to say, among other things, the title has to do with his own research into the behavior of black men. Black men, let me just try the white interpretation here and you'll straighten me out. Black men affect a kind of a cool. And it's an expressionless sort of I can handle anything, non-emotional, has no texture, often misunderstood by whites as a defense against the pressure that he feels. Ain't nothing gonna bother me, ain't nothing gonna affect me, I'm a man, I'm tough, I'm courageous, and all I gotta do is stand here and affect this posture to prove it. Comes along, for example, a Korean grocer, and it looks like hostility. It is misunderstood, but it is, according to Dr. Majors, an affected defense against the enormous pressure that black men feel. How do you feel about the commentary of Ms. Ali?
Well, I think Sister Ali, in her heart, I think she means well. I just don't like the way that Sister Ali goes about expressing the problems of black males. If you're going to fix the problem, what we need to do is get on about the business of providing opportunities, activities, jobs, more jobs, programs, and yes, we need Afrocentric curriculum in the schools across the country. But I think where I depart with Sister Ali is that by calling black men wimps, by saying that they're punks, that bothers me.
I didn't really say it in that way, but that's the excuse and comeback you all always use, because you
didn't let him finish. Didn't let him finish. This is the same Keisha. Didn't like what he was saying and got triggered. This ain't no down in the dumps black man right here. This is an accomplished black man who's trying to help his fellow black man. And you won't even let him speak. Oh, it gets worse. Oh, it gets worse.
It gets worse.
You get to speak. Please give, may I ask you to hear Dr. Majors commenting. Please, sir.
As Malcolm X said, black males have caught hell in this country. And we have caught hell. And like I said, Sister, I think your heart's in the right place and you're really sincere. But as I said before, I just don't think that you're going at it the right way. Racism has killed oftentimes the will and the spirit of black males. Yes, we become oftentimes involved in self-destructive behaviors. But the point is, we deserve applause because black males, as much as they've been behind the 8 ball, we have made a number of accomplishments in this country. Yes, we can do better.
Well, exactly.
Yes, we should do better. Let me finish this, John. And what I'm saying,
She just can't help herself. She just can't help herself.
by calling out black males liars and saying that they're punks and they're whipped out. What I'm saying is, we can get on about the business, you and I and other black people in the black community, and I agree with you. You have a very good point, that we need to invest more in the black community. We also need to develop more mentoring programs, activities, and role modeling programs to give us this demise.
What I'm saying about the racism situation is that the major time, 90% of the times that black men say they experience racism is when they come and ask you for something and you say no. So the solution to that is stop asking. Go do something for yourself, and you won't be in a position where somebody can say, no, we're not going to give you that. That's right.
But one of the central...
And watch where she's getting with that. Watch where she's getting with this.
But one of the central themes in your book is that, yes, we need to do more investment. I think you mentioned in the book in your good enough to keep the money into the black community to build hospitals, schools, and what have you. And I agree with you. But at the same time, I'm not going to let the government off the hook, because black people in this country have paid a black tax through their blood, sweat, sweat, and tears.
There ain't no reparations coming to y'all other than welfare, disability, and unemployment. That's the
Listen. He's basically, her statement about asking the government, brothers are saying, hey, listen, you owe us. You're the reason you stole. You're the reason why a lot of black men and black women are in this position. You're the reason why black people over here are starting way up in the back of a race because of what you stolen. Free forced labor. Every other ethnic background that was done wrong got reparations. Every ethnic background that the U.S. have done wrong have reparations, whether it's through war or whether it's just straight up, ransacking anything from communities, corporations, towns, businesses, every other ethnic background that has ever been done wrong by the United States have been compensated for.
I'm gonna stop that right there. Because he's gonna go on to say that food stamps, public housing, projects, welfare, those things were given to the black woman. And he's right. The government looks at it as they gave us reparations. No, you didn't give us reparations. You gave black women a chance to get off from under black men. And now it's gotten out of control to the point where black men are leaving middle class. Not the guys that do well, not the guys that are young YNs, but the middle class men, the hard workers. They're leaving. They don't want to deal with this anymore. They're in last place. But when they go somewhere else, they're in first place. And what the man is trying to tell you is that the government still owe us. The Japanese after World War II got reparations. The Native Americans got reparations. Every nationality that was done wrong by the United States government was given reparations. What blacks get? A system given to black women. I hope you guys learn something. This is for my future generations. Get your passports, go out and explore the world You don't have to be stuck in a community that don't love you. They only want you for a resource. This is the Daily Read, and I'm out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Business.